Don in London, hello. It's November the 7th. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance of addiction, alcohol, so an alcoholic in recovery, and I make that very clear. What you see is what you get, somebody in recovery. And I was also addicted to behaviour around people, places and things. Being with the right people, in the right places, with the right things, wanting the right things. Trying to be whatever I thought I ought to be, rather than learning who I am on a daily basis. And why? Well, maybe a feeling of feeling less than others, so always on the back foot rather than on the front foot. Not realising it's okay not to know. And we make progress in life, and it's not perfect. And that's what I've learned. Making progress and not being perfect. So how did I stop drinking? Well, I didn't do it on my own. I had some professional help to get dry, and once dry, the professional help said you need help on a daily basis to maintain your sobriety, and we, the professionals, cannot afford the amount of time you need. This is really what they said to me. We cannot follow up like other people can follow up. And there is a fellowship out there called Alcoholics Anonymous who can help you live and be sober one day at a time. And if we're sober today, then the rest of life can be opened up, and we can be willing to keep on learning what's good for us and what works for us. Simple as that. But we don't drink anymore. So from addiction into recovery, from the problem into the solution. And part of my solution was being a part of, and still being a part of, a fellowship called Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't represent Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, ever. What you see here is what you get. One person speaking about their recovery. And what I know more than anything is the many voices in the fellowship who have helped me. Those who I don't know too well, and only hear their life story occasionally and what's going on for them, through to people I know pretty well and have become friends in fellowship. And learning to love people without conditions has been a part of the journey. So what is AA all about? Well, it is described as an emotional, spiritual and physical program or fellowship. People learning their emotional, spiritual and physical ways to be well. And everybody has a story of how they got to AA through addiction to alcohol, an alcoholic. And if you're not an alcoholic, but you have other problems and substances and behaviour, you may find a fellowship out there which suits you better. Or you may find a completely different way of doing it. And all I say is, whatever works in recovery, and it leads us into making progress, so we know what our feelings are in the moment of now, then our thinking will be improved. That's how simple it is. But you know what? We make it very complicated. So I share about AA here on my videos, and the 12-step program, and the 12 traditions of AA, to provide a bit of enlightenment. And it's okay not to know how to do things. I needed to learn life all over again. A blank sheet, if you like. My life had gone to pot. Well, I'd never taken pot, but it had gone, and I'd lost pretty much everything. Everything emotionally. I didn't know what I was feeling. I had no clear idea what is spiritual, whatever it is. I've come up to learn that spiritual, as many people say, is the ability to cope with reality, no matter how difficult it seems. Live reality. Know how I feel, and my thinking will improve, so I can deal with the issues of life as they arise day to day. So that's what fellowship has done for me. But here I share exactly what is AA from the AA preamble here on this little card, and then something of the daily reflections, which comes from another book. Here it is. I was looking behind me. It's here. This one, Daily Reflections from AA. And I need to share as I was asked. And this is what I do. So I'll start with the AA preamble, which goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. So it's a fellowship, a society. It's not an organisation in some other ways like you might encounter, and nobody is telling you what to do. It's all suggestions. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking, which is so crucial. Many years ago, the fellowship was asked of itself what rules, regulations and laws should be put in place to ensure that the fellowship would stay on track. And the list was so long, it was so complicated, that it was decided there are no rules, laws or regulations which can be violated. All we have is a desire to stop drinking and improve our personal conduct and to be part of something. Open, honest and willing to learn life again, and the fellowship all about unity, service and recovery, to live the truth and live reality as it is today. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. So if you're poverty-stricken like I was when I first got to the fellowship, then you don't have to contribute. It's free at the point of entry. Always it's based on fellowship. Free at the point of entry, always, for anyone with a desire to stop drinking. And it remains free if you're still poverty-stricken, or you're on the borderline like me, just getting by. My needs are met, my wants more forgotten, and they don't trouble me. An old life gone, full of toys, people, places and things, but not good for me, so I had to start again. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy. But, and here is the but, everyone in the fellowship has a life choices made free, freedom of choice, how they live today, and they will have alliances, be part of something outside of AA. After all, the fellowship is there to provide sobriety, so the rest of life can work. So in fellowship meetings you will hear everything about everybody, and we prefer to keep it anonymous so that people don't feel unable to share their truth. And there are other issues around anonymity which I cover later on, not today. So AA is there only for sobriety, but you will hear everything about life and what people do. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety, and that's why I do these videos. And I don't make any promises about whether fellowship will work for you. I can't promise that. I don't promote AA. What you see is what you get, and I'm just one person. So it's always the many voices, and you will hear, if you're new, you will hear your life story, or if you've been around a while, you'll understand what people are talking about when they share what's going on for them day to day. That's how it works. It works because we tell each other the truth. And my bridge back to living life has involved me taking the decision, as asked, to share how recovery is working for me, and how the fellowship works for me, and how the steps, 12 steps, which keep me open, honest and willing to learn, with humility, hopefully, to keep on asking for help. And what is unity, service and recovery in fellowship? Well, it's simple. If you think or feel able to do something to help another person, you share about it, or you do something, an action, to help things move along. It's attraction, not promotion. So what you see is what you get day by day. The fellowship in action. Ordinary people making progress. Not special and different. Not a guru, and I'm not a guru, ever. I'm just sharing what works. That's how it's working for me. So I have a life outside fellowship. I have a life which includes many other people. But the closest friends have been developed over the last 7 years, or 8 years, or is it, whatever it is. But I've been around sober quite a while, and I've realised all the way through I never know the answers until the questions are arising. So I'm learning day by day, simply making progress, and never perfect. So it's an imperfectly perfect way of living. In the imperfectly perfect moment where life happens right now, I can ask for help when I don't know. And the greatest gift is not knowing, because I can ask for help from any source. And that's how the fellowship has helped me. I don't produce the answers to your problems today. I just share about how life is going along. So when I wake up in the morning, I am sober. I may have a lot of feelings drifting around from maybe yesterday or previous years, but I can deal with them today by asking for help or listening to other people. That's how it works. So rarely have I seen a person fail who has thoroughly got involved and eventually said, I prefer to be sober today. But I have seen a lot of people try to emulate and pretend and fail on a daily basis because they won't let go of one or two things which get in the way, namely self-will and willpower and thinking and feeling we ought to be right, and if we're not, we are falling down on the job of living. It's not a job. Living is living, making progress. And some things we have to do to keep and maintain sobriety so the rest of it can work. So I've shared here the daily reflections for today, very much based on prayer and meditation, which is step 11, which is this book. Daily Reflections covers each of the 12 steps, one a month, and each of the traditions, one a month. So steps are for an individual to be open, honest and willing to learn new ways daily, and the 12 traditions are about unity, service and recovery, and not telling each other what to do, and not actually making rules, laws or regulations that people cannot possibly live up to, and nobody is in charge of another person and their point of view. So what we do outside fellowship is what we do outside fellowship, and these videos are not about me promoting AA at all. It's about detraction, not promotion, telling the truth, so I may live my truth day by day. So here come the daily reflections. And my coffee's cold. I made it earlier. I had a few problems with my software. Anyway, the daily reflection from the daily reflection book from AA is all about let go and let God. Praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. So letting go and letting God. So when I let go not knowing the answers. So when I pray and meditate, if there's something on my mind which I'm not sure about, and somebody brought up a very important issue around tradition 11, which is anonymity at the level of press, radio and films. When I let go and let God, I think more clearly and wisely. Without having to think about it, I quickly let go things that can cause me immediate pain and discomfort, because I find it hard to let go. Let go of the kind of worrisome thoughts and attitudes that cause me immense anguish. All I need do during these times is allow God, as I understand Him, to release them from me, and then and there I let go of the thoughts, memories and attitudes that are troubling me. Old behaviour, being right. I'm not right. Most of the time I need to keep on learning. When I receive help from God, as I understand Him, I can live my life one day at a time and handle whatever challenges that come my way. Only then can I live a life of victory over alcohol. But I don't see it as victory. I just see it as a day by day. I don't drink. I'm not in a battle with alcohol anymore. And I live in comfortable sobriety. So it's very interesting, you know, when I watch television there are adverts all about Christmas drinks being cheap, And I have a club card with a retailer who sells booze by the truckload every day. Yet, often I'm not even aware of them. And I'm only aware of them if I'm thinking of something to do with fellowship, and that is, I'm sober. Why, oh why, do people stock up so much? Well, I did. I used to be like that. My old behaviour was to always have a great big stock of alcohol so I could share it with other people. Namely, to have fun and be happy. And then in the years following many disruptive times, I lost the plot, and drink was the only solace I had to find oblivion and not look at reality at all. I preferred it, oblivion, not being in charge of anything and hiding away with the curtains closed, and then on a park bench because I had no curtains and nowhere to live. It took me to the very depths of where a human can go and still, somehow, wake up and have to face yet another day of seeking oblivion over and over again. So my old behaviour, insanity of trying to do it on my own. So these days I'm open, honest and willing to tell the truth about me. And that's well, I'll come to that in just a moment. These are my feelings today, based on something that I was asked again. Do I violate the traditions of AA by being open about my sobriety? And my feeling is there are no laws, rules or regulations, so therefore there is no violation of something which impedes my humility, keeping on learning, and people knowing where I'm coming from. So if they see me in a problem, they can either pick me up or ignore me. That's just the way it is. And if people don't want to know me because I'm a recovering alcoholic, I prefer that they know I'm a recovering alcoholic, and they won't want to know me if that's their choice. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. It makes life simpler because many people know what it's like and how people have lost the fight, if you like, using self-will, lost the fight and have perished because they didn't get the help, nor could they accept help from others. So that's why it's important to me. Get dry. I got professional medical help to do that because I lost the plot completely, and medically I was at death's door more than once. So getting dry and learning how just to eat food again was quite a struggle. So I had help and support, and thank goodness I did. Well, thank God. You know, where does the truth come from for me on a daily basis? It comes in the form of wisdom shared by other people, inside and outside fellowship. But fellowship keeps me sober, so I can hear the wisdom of the world. You know, God works through people, I am told, and I fully accept that concept as working for me, because without other people I'd be dead. Anyway, for today, I've learned that sobriety is a one-day program. I wake up and start sober, and need remind myself of step 1, 2 and 3 of the 12-step program. Powerless over alcohol, people, places and things today, or life becomes unmanageable. A return to old ways is insanity, and help is always on hand to keep well. Letting go and not knowing the answers opens me up to asking for help, wherever it is. And if I'm sober, people are more likely to try and help me than if I were to go back to old ways, get drunk and be mad. Spiritual living, this is important to me, spiritual living has been described as the ability to cope with reality. I quite am tuned into spiritual living being described as the ability to cope with reality. Good, bad and indifferent, life experience, drunk or sober, this is important to me, life experience, drunk or sober, is always a spiritual journey in terms of, am I coping with reality? So drunk, I didn't cope very well with reality and I didn't like it. I couldn't believe where I ended up. Why me? Don't deserve this. But now, not drunk, sober one day at a time, the spiritual journey continues with more clarity. The quality of my spiritual experience is always contingent on me being open, honest and willing. Learning the truth of now with humility and asking for help is key. And the final one today, living the truth of now is my spiritual foundation. Living the truth of now is my spiritual foundation. People, right. Sharing experience, strength and hope is a two-way street. So as I share what's my truth, based on opinion, this is my opinion of the truth, and then people sharing back their opinion of the truth, we make progress. Yeah, truth is always evolving as we human beings evolve and make progress. If people in the world do not know my truth, all of it, they are disabled by me and my fear of being found out as less than perfect. I prefer open, honest and willing, so I can get the help I need today. So I'm making progress, but I don't know the answers, and sobriety provides me with a good foundation to try and find out what the truth of now is. Spiritual is always now, the ability to cope with now. And then there are other reflections from other days, or years in fact. The matter of God, prayer meditation, is always personal. I can remember my father being an atheist, and his greatest fear when he was dying was what was going to happen to my mother, who I can say some 20 years or so later will hopefully celebrate her 80th birthday on December the 4th. All his life my dad felt he had let people down when all he wanted to do was make life better for them. And it was a puzzle to him why his family, even though we weren't able to show it very often to him because he was just a man out there somewhere on his own through fear, we loved him. We loved him dearly, and we didn't really know how much we loved him until those final days. And he taught me something very special about cherishing. He said we need to cherish people always, and he said of your mother to me, and it never showed her how much I loved her or cherished her. And he said I've lived superficially and with indifference because it was just too difficult to express those feelings. And he taught me, cherish people, try not to be superficial or indifferent towards them, and don't lie to them or don't hide from the truth of now. Hence these videos. I feel okay telling you the truth. The truth will set me free, but if I didn't tell you the truth, I wouldn't be free, and there would be fear of whatever. I am what I am. I'm learning one day at a time, and I'll know a little bit more about myself by the end of the day. So I try and set my expectations to zero, or I have resentments under construction. I deal with my feelings as they happen as much as I can in the moment, so they don't pile up into great big mountains like they were before. And I have to go back and do another life story in order to set a balance again. So hopefully my feelings fit the moment of now. And I was asked, do I violate anything when I do these videos? Well, I don't know. Probably in the eyes of some people they are violations of what is perceived to be a law, a regulation or a rule in fellowship. But the truth is, I need keep to the truth of who I am today and share my truth and share what got me well. Thousands of people over the years who shared the truth of who they are under the umbrella of anonymity in fellowship. Crucial, I feel. After all, we need to learn how to practice living open, honest and willing. And often we can't do that until we get a bit of sober living behind us. So I fully agree with anonymity to provide sanctuary, to open up the truth of who we are without fear. And then we live as we live. We all have a different preference. Some people remain anonymous. Some people share their truth. A one-day program. And if I fail at being sober one day at a time, I need check in and say so. I don't fear that. I fear not telling you the truth. Progress not perfect. That's the name of fellowship, really. Making progress not perfect. People slip, people lapse, people go on for years and years and years, being sober one day at a time. I guess all I can say is we're all in the same boat, the same day, the same moment. Coping with it is far better sober for me, and if I were to return to old ways and the insanity, I would be hanging on by my fingernails. I suppose the metaphor is my fingernails on a cliff edge and nothing below me but to drop down into oblivion. My preference is sober today, and that's as good as it gets. Truth, love and wisdom is all around us. Learning the truth of now, the wisdom of now, and how to love and be loved back unconditionally, and being somehow useful in some way is enough. Bedrock, and then from anything from there, well, I don't know. I just don't know, and that's okay. Not knowing and asking for help will keep me sober. So, the Serenity Prayer, which I share at the end of these videos, all about what I can do in changing me and my attitudes and behaviour. I can change me and my attitudes. What I can't do, I can't change the world. It's the way it is. Live with what is. And know, trying to change you, your attitudes and behaviour is beyond me. I might hopefully influence you to be friendly when I ask for help. That's as good as it gets. And if you say no, perfectly acceptable. No, I can't help you is good. As well as, yes, I can help. I know a little bit about this. And that's how fellowship works. What we can do and what we can't do. And learning the wisdom to know the difference. So the Serenity Prayer, whether it's a meditation or an exhortation to good conscience, which we all have, we know what is right and wrong, and we all have a conscience. And some people ask God to grant me serenity. So truth, love and wisdom offer me serenity. It doesn't mean it's going to be smooth, happy and joyful. It means I can cope with the reality of now, the horror of life as well as the joy of life. Acceptance of both and not denying them. So feelings and in the moment of now, emotional and spiritual well-being. So the Serenity Prayer to God, or in good conscience, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. In the moment, imperfectly perfect moment of now, and always, just for today.